Okay, so we're in lesson 10. We are going to go ahead and write out what's on page 98. This is ethanol, by the way. And if you add ethanol and 3 O2s, you will get 2 CO2s and 3 H2Os. CO2 is carbon dioxide. And 3 H2Os is water. And this is just oxygen. Okay. So the question is, if you have 3 ethanols, how many oxygen do you need? Well, you already got 3 because there's this coefficient here. Go ahead and put these into parentheses because you're fixing to multiply them. Why? Because it's saying you have 3 ethanols. How many CO2s are you going to need? Well, you're going to need 3 CO2s. So how many is that? That is 9 O2s. That's the answer. But I wouldn't stop there because you know what the next question is going to be. It's going to say, well, how many CO2s do you produce if you have 3 ethanols? Well, we're going to go ahead and put that in parentheses because there's another coefficient. And we're going to multiply that by 3 also. And we're going to, while we're at it, go ahead and do the water also. Because if you balance the whole equation, then everything is satisfied. And any questions you have, all you got to do is look at your answers. Okay, so if we have 3 ethanols, how many 3O2s do you need? Well, you need 9 of them. And if you have 3 ethanols, how many CO2s do you produce? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, so you produce 6 CO2s. And how many waters will you produce? If you have 3 ethanols, you're going to produce 9 H2Os. So that is the quick and easy way to get those questions answered. If you just go ahead and multiply 3 across the board, or whatever number it's asking, then you will get your answers for the rest of your questions. Now, if you turn to page 98 with me, there's another one. It's called manganese. Is it manganese dioxide? I think that's how you spell it. You got 3. This is the recipe for it. You need 3 of these manganese dioxides. You need 4 aluminums. And it creates 3 manganese, little n, not capital N. And it creates 2 aluminum dioxides. Okay? Well, it's saying here, what if you only have 2 aluminum available? Well, if you only have 2 aluminum, how many is 2 aluminum? In this equation, you only have half, right? So you're going to go ahead and you're going to put everything. Well, you don't have to put it in there. But 3, you can just rewrite it and put it in parentheses because you know that you're going to use 2 aluminum. And go ahead and do it across the board. Okay, you're going to multiply all of it by half because half of 4 is 2 and all you have is 2 aluminum. So how are you going to create the recipe? This is how you do it. So what's half times 3? And half is 0.5. So I do 0.5 times 3. It's 1.5. So you have a manganese dioxide. You need half. Go ahead and drop your aluminum. Half of 3 manganese is 1.5 manganese. And half of 2 aluminum dioxide is 1 aluminum. And you don't have to put the 1. I just put it there for effect. So you could just leave the 1 out if you want to. Well, you're supposed to leave it out. There is no 1 coefficient. Anyway, so this is what you would have. So if it asks you, how many manganese would you have if you only had 2 aluminum? Well, you would have 1.5 manganese. Well, how many aluminum dioxides would you have if you only had 2 aluminum? Well, for a balanced equation, you would only create 1 because you've multiplied them all by half. Well, what if you only had 1 aluminum? Just 1. Right? And I'm putting the 1 there for effect. You don't need it. I'm just doing it for the math. So what is the fraction if you only have 1? Well, it's 1/4, right? So you're going to go ahead and drop that 3 manganese dioxide, and you're going to multiply it by 1/4, which is 0.25. And you are going to do it all the way across the board because you're going to answer all the questions in one fell swoop. Right? So what's the answer? Well, you're going to have 3/4 manganese dioxide plus 1 aluminum creates 3/4 manganese plus half aluminum dioxide. There's your answer across the board. So if you only had 1 aluminum, how many aluminum dioxide would you create? 1/2. How many manganese would you create? You would create 3/4 of a mole, because these are moles we're dealing with. We're not dealing with grams right now. We're dealing with moles. So you have 1/2 of a mole of aluminum dioxide, 3/4 of a mole of manganese with 1 mole of aluminum, and 3/4 manganese dioxide. So just remember, whenever it asks you, if you only have this much, go ahead and, or how much do you produce? If you have 3 waters, or if you had 9 waters, how much ethanol would you need? Well, you would just do the multiplication all the way across the board to balance the chemical equation. And do it all at once. Don't take the steps. If in the test, if it says if you have 3 ethanols, go ahead and work that whole chemical equation out. If it says you have 1/3 of something, go ahead and get out your calculator and do 1/3 all the way across the board. Because more than likely, it's going to ask you what your other components are in your chemical reaction in regards to that 1/3 of a mole that you just used. And so just make sure that whatever you do to one, you do to all of them, even if it doesn't ask you the question later, because it satisfies and balances the equation and it gets you used to doing that. This is just balancing the equation when it asks. If you have 3 ethanols, you're balancing it by 3 all the way across. If you have half, you're balancing it by 1/2 a mole all the way across, or half of the recipe. You're balancing it all the way across the board. Just make a habit of just balancing it across the board, even if you don't get that question asked again. So if you have any questions, go ahead and do 99 yourself. Go ahead and do 99, page 99, and see if you can answer that question. Try it yourself before looking at the following answer. This is another situation with 2 and 3 combinations. Do the multiplying by 3 and 2, and this gives this. So it's telling you to do this chart, but I just did it out on paper. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, look, there's another one. Y'all do page 100 by yourself. See if you can work that out. If you can't, text me. I'll sit on the phone with you and walk through it with you, because sometimes you need to be able to ask your personal questions. And believe me, when you call me and ask me questions and you ask for help, you're showing me how to teach you. And I promise you, you're not the only one that's having this problem. And it helps me to be able to show you how to do these problems. So call me, text me, whatever. I'll make some time for you. Talk to you later. Bye.